Thank you. Welcome councillors to our April ordinary meeting of Warren Shire Council. I declare the meeting open. Our acknowledgement of country. Warren Shire Council acknowledges the traditional owners of the land within the Warren Shire and acknowledges the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who reside within this Shire. Councillors, I'd like to formally make mention of the passing of a former council employee and at least two-term councillor, Councillor Bill Roby, who made a significant contribution to this town and this council, both as a councillor, as an employee, but also as a business owner. His funeral is later this morning, and I invite all councillors who feel the need to please attend that funeral. We'll break for that funeral and allow councillors to attend it. The degree of esteem to which Bill was held is recognised down at the depot in one of the service bays, is named in his honour, and it's a sad day that we see quality people like Bill Roby pass away, that their contribution is not forgotten, and the contribution that he made continues to have a significant impact on the ability of Warren Shire Council to do its work. So I wonder if you might just join me in standing for the recognition of passing of Councillor Bill Roby, a wonderful fellow and a great stalwart of Warren Shire Council. Thank you, Councillor. On a happier note, I'd like to very much formally welcome Brad Pascoe to our team and our council. Brad's been with us now for a couple of days, forced into hard labour on Anzac Day immediately, helping on the barbecue, etc. But Brad, welcome to Warren Shire Council. I hope that your contribution is significant to this council. I believe you really have the ability to take us to another level, and we very much look forward to having you on board and having some great interaction with you as councillors, with a very capable fellow who's moving already, mate. Great to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you, councillors.
Councillors, I call for apologies and application for leave of absence by councillors for this meeting.
So you'd from Councillor Taylor and Councillor Brewer.
Thank you. Someone happy to move those two apologies? Councillor White and Councillor Jackson. We'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to the minutes of the meeting held on the Thursday, the 23rd of March, the ordinary council meeting. Someone happy to move those minutes to true and accurate record? Thank you, Councillor Drews. Second, Councillor Jackson. Councillor Drews.
Happy to move it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments, questions regarding the minutes of the March meeting? Nothing further. We'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to item 5 on our agenda, the disclosure of interest. I don't believe we have any disclosures of interest. Thank you. Mayoral minutes, there are none. The reports of the committees. Moving on to item 7, the one of those meeting the Mannix committee held on the 18th of April. Someone happy to move those minutes, please? Thank you, Councillor Walker. Second, Councillor Drews. Councillor Walker. Councillor Walker's moved that the minutes of the Mannix meeting be accepted. Any further comments, questions regarding those minutes? Nothing further. We'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving to item 8, reports of delegates. The first of those being the meeting of the Castlereagh and Quarry County Council held 6th of March. Councillor Kinsey, you're happy to move that. Thank you. Second, Councillor Whiteley. Councillor Kinsey.
Yes, Mr Mayor. Meeting was held in Canangle. The main discussion was is the issue we're having with Hudson Pier out there at Walgett, and wherever else. So we've got a new program that's organised by the state government to give us $2.6 million or something over a period of 5 years. And LLS got the Guernsey for that, but LLS passed the ball to us, so Castlereagh is now doing that for at least 12 months. And that will improve our finances by the tune of $100,000. So this program has started off, we've had, and it's a bit of a weird way of doing it, but it works really good. They're actually offering to spray, Hudson Pear for nothing on property. Somebody owns the land, will go in and spray it for them with their consent. And so we've actually gone to 32 individual landholders and saying that we will spray your place for you, and or we will give you the chemicals to do it yourself. Nothing. Zero. At this point in time, we've had six individual landholders accept that offer. And we're at a bit of a quandary as to why. We don't know why that's going on, but anyhow. So far we've had 2 spray contractors, because we don't have the staff to do this stuff ourselves, we've got to get contractors to do it. 2 contractors have sprayed approximately 7,500 hectares. So this thing about this 6 people responding out of 32 is probably not really good enough. So we hope to have a meeting at our next meeting on the 26th of June, and hopefully Roy Butler will attend that and see if we can get some legislation to help us control these troublesome cacti, and see how we go from there. Apart from that, it's just usual finance and stuff, and they're going along quite well there, and the ball is bouncing along slowly. So, yeah, generally, it looks like this will work, provided we can make these buggers do what we want them to do.
Councillor, can you, if your ability to do this on, are there infestations on Crown land?
Yeah, it's all over the place.
So, is the ability for Crown to do the spraying on Crown land or not?
Yes, but, well, that's one of the difficulties about all this is, in the past, governments have been very reluctant to give us legislation to do things, because then they're subject to that legislation. That's what I reckon has been going on for the last 25 years. So, who knows? I mean, we've got a situation now where we've got a local member who's not a member of government, but I just hope the Christ government be needed. Maybe we'll get something to happen, who knows? Councillor
Just a question through there. So how far is this spreading? Like, what area are these 30 people that you, is it all up like Reach Walgett, or is it further?
This is just in the immediate area around Walgett. Probably at, if you know the area very well, there's a place called, it's south of Walgett, probably 40 k south of Walgett. It's pretty ordinary there, where there's a lot of mining going on. And it's in that vicinity. But definitely, it's all over the place. It's at Kinnair, it's at Coonabarabran, there's an area there, 5 ways. Been in a Crown land there for God knows how long. And don't seem to be able to control it. Because what happens is you get over it, you get it done, and then the money evaporates. So it gets forgotten. It's the inconsistency of the program that just kills us every time.
It's just, I saw a photo, one place was that thick that you wouldn't be able to spray it, you'd have to aerial spray it. It's just got out of control.
And you can't aerial spray. And that's the extraordinary part. We wonder why somebody wouldn't want to deal with it. Just, I'd be honest.
Thank you. Is it Councillor Walker?
So when you say legislation, is that, if that is possible to get up, and then the landowners are made to, is that we can?
That's pretty well what we want. Yeah. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. We need to do something about it.
John, the other question that was, or the information was noted from the last meeting was potential for some trials of African boxthorn control. Is that progressing, or how?
That's still ongoing, Mr. Mayor. and I don't think we'll get a result with that for probably until when we get out of this winter. So you need your stuff to be actively growing to make sure you see how it works. It seems to be fairly actively growing around here in Warren, so yeah, there is a trial here somewhere. Oh, yeah, where it is.
No, it's confidential.
Yeah.
There is a trial in our shop for this biological control, which is a type of fungus, Mr. Mayor.
It's like
Yeah.
it's the rust.
Yeah, and it's, the county council's in control of it, but it's, headed up by the CSIRO.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding the Conservation Victoria County Council meeting? Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 2 of reports of delegates, that being the meeting of Country Mayors Association held 9th of March in Newcastle. Unfortunately, we were unable to attend that one. It turned out to be a bit of about a 3-day event in the end. There is another meeting of Country Mayors on the 26th of May, which we believe will be valuable, given the hope that the Premier may address that meeting, so we're making arrangements to attend that one on the 26th. Nonetheless, these are the minutes of the one held on the 9th of March. Someone happy to move those minutes? Councillor Jackson, thank you. Second, Councillor Kinsey. Councillor Jackson.
I would have nothing, and I'll just commend those minutes.
Thank you. Anything further, Councillor Kinsey?
Did anything come out of the Western Council thing, Mr. Mayor?
No, nothing was organised before the election, and we're talking Western Division Council.
The Country Mayors, I'm sorry. Nothing come out of it, but
No, Country Mayors spent had a big effort in terms of media presence, particularly on Sky, raising various issues that pertain to all the councils that are part of the Country Mayors Association. Beyond that, there was no great, I don't believe any indication on behalf of what is now the government to a lot of those measures, but nonetheless, we'll be interested to hear how the new Labor government and Premier Minns are reacting to the Country Mayors. I think that Country Mayors has a fairly significant voice now, so I think it's an organisation that will be listened to a certain extent. So interested that the General Manager and I will certainly endeavour to get to the next meeting in the hope that we get to talk to some senior government elected representatives so that we can actually continue to put the case for Warren and particularly regional New South Wales. But yeah, it was a bit of this one was more to showcase the Port of Newcastle, which is going to be a big part of the way that our produce, particularly wheat, is exported. And so it pertains to really anywhere. We're on the southern end of pretty much where Newcastle accepts wheat, etc. from, but it was Port of Newcastle's really, as we've said before, they're really moving away from the export of coal to a certain extent because most people's view has a limited time span, and they're replacing that with the ability to export wheat and other produce. They're a deep water port, so they can handle container ships that are much, much bigger than any other port in Australia. So that's their reference point, and with that comes efficiency, of course, and that comes back to our producers over time. Councillor Walker.
I was just going to comment, is saying that they've got a policy on it, I know it's GD and Russell convert between the fingers of the association, so that's a good sign.
I'm not sure the number of councils that are members of Country Mayors, but it's growing all the time, and there aren't councils wanting to leave that organisation, which I think is a fair vote in its ability to have a voice. We'll wait and see how. I believe it had a good seat at the table with the previous state government, and hopefully that will continue with the present state government.
And it's next meeting's in Dubbo, isn't it?
No, this is Country Mayors.
Alliance of Western Councils in Dover.
No, but the next in May?
Yeah, sorry. So the next country mayors is in Sydney in May, the 26th. But the week before was the Alliance of Western Councils. So, of course,
19.
we'll keep them separate. Any further comments, questions regarding the minutes of the meeting of the Country Mayors Association? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Now moving on to the Alliance of Western Council meeting held on the 16th of March. This was held via Teams. The chair of the Alliance of Western Councils had, in the lead up to the election, had a media commitment. This would normally have occurred on a Friday. This was then on a Thursday, this meeting. The General Manager was able to attend that meeting on my behalf and our behalf. I'd like to see someone to move it and then someone to second, and then we can, I might defer, moved by Councillor Kinsey, second Councillor Drews. I might defer the General Manager, he was on that meeting for a summary.
Just a real quick one. Similar yearly fees, 5,000. There's a little bit more in our estimates for next year, so there may be some projects that we might be able to contribute to using a little slightly larger budget than 5,000. One thing that is eventually moving forward is they're hoping that a training, almost like a small training institute can be set up for water and sewer training of operators in the next level up, that could be based probably out of training in Narromine Shire, which the Iran Water Utilities Alliance is pushing. We're putting both some money that we've got left from the joint organisation and the Alliance of Western Councils money to a business case to progress that, get some designs done, and hopefully some grants, big grants for it. There is a crime problem that a lot of councils are aware of, and one of the things that this Alliance of Western Council will be pushing will be talking to the Attorney General as soon as we can about trying to make sure that the judicial system actually looks after the victims instead of the young offenders that are causing serious difficulties everywhere. And we're just setting ourselves up for future meetings. The board will be meeting in Dubbo, everyone going to Dubbo, and the General Manager Advisory Committee Forum will be meeting in Narromine for the future.
Yeah. The reason for the initial thought was that the meetings would be, the board meetings would be spread around each council over time. But in order to have politicians, heads of government departments attend, it's much easier to have it in Dubbo. They'll fly in, be there for the meeting and fly out. So that's the reasoning for that change of thought on the venue for each of the meetings. Councillor Walker.
On that issue of crime, when I first became council, we used to have meetings with the police. We don't have that anymore, and I'm just wondering if anyone does have connection with them to voice our concerns, because there's a lot of concern there, and there's quite a few people I've spoken to lately who say that the police just don't seem to care. They don't want to get involved with some issues.
Well, we've asked a couple of times to have meetings with the police, and that unfortunately hasn't occurred, but we will follow that up. So again, and just see what we can do in terms of having them, because I think it was valuable just to have that interaction. You know what their workforce was, what was concerns were, we could relay to them the concerns of the community about what those. So, taken on board.
And together with precinct meetings as well, which is the next level up.
Yeah, regularly as well. Yes. Thank you, Councillor Walker.
Just a question to you, Mayor, maybe now the paper started up, the police might do some reporting to the paper, a segment of the paper maybe as well.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding the minutes of the meeting of the Alliance of Western Council? Nothing further, put that, all those in favour? Against, carried. Moving on to our items of policy. One policy to be considered today is the review of the secondary employment policy. Someone happy to move the recommendation that that policy be adopted, or, no, sorry, it goes out and display, does it? No. No, it needs to be adopted, yes, be adopted. Councillor Whiteley, you're happy to move that? Second, Councillor Kenzie, Councillor Whiteley.
I don't. I went through this in reasonable fine detail over the last few days. I don't profess to be an expert on this area, but yeah, I think it's something that's recommended by our auditor. A normal business practice would have a policy like this, and I recommend it to the council.
I mean, what it's really tidying up is making sure that the need for a yearly secondary employment application to the general manager is set up instead of just being on form. It says this is an annual form. It's incorporated into the policy and just tidying up the relevant parts of the policy that relate to the new code.
Councillor Jones and Councillor Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's quite reasonable, but I'm just interested to get some explanation. On page 1, the last line says the policy was presented to April 23 Mannix, where there were concerns. Can you explain that much?
No concerns. The word no.
No, should be in there.
Yes. Thank you.
Makes more sense than
Yes, that makes yes, I think it sounds reasonable. That's fine. Thank you. Great.
Very well. What page was that?
The bottom of page 1. Yeah.
Second line from the bottom.
Right, I've lost that issue, you know, no concerns.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor McCloskey.
Sorry, Mr. Just in light of that, and the comment that it was considered by minute and was positive, it said, how's it been accepted by those that affects in the outdoor staff?
So the situation is that ever since I got here, I've been making sure that yearly, like early June, a memorandum goes out with the form. Then there's a bit of a push of local knowledge of people who are doing secondary employment. I have to be very careful. A lot of people do a lot of voluntary stuff, which is not really secondary employment. And so that's, you be gentle. Be gentle.
Yeah, because that was moving on with the question in terms of those that do engage in secondary employment that you have knowledge of and don't provide you the information to read the policy, then given you have knowledge of it, you go chase it up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people out there dodging
Yeah.
the need or the want to fill in the real.
And that was one of the reasons why this has been tidied up. Make sure that 12 monthly things contained in the policy, not just in the form, but in the bottom of the form. And there's a chance that next time we'll be writing to every person, not just relying on memorandum.
Because you know that you've not, in your history, denied one.
No, there's, there may be some limits, but it hasn't been denied.
Yeah.
Could possibly be something that you could approach through performance appraisals on an annual basis as well. I'm sure it's part of the process to complete.
Councillor Whiteley.
I'd just like to back up the divisional manager's comment on that. I think that should be written into the annual performance evaluation, whether your secondary employment is affecting your employment in the annual work appraisal.
we'll let the
Could be something.
salaried officers take control of that, councillor Whiteley. It becomes an operational matter and,
That's correct, Mr. Mayor, it's my advice.
And a good example of this is that I require, and I hope that everyone checks the validity of everyone's motor vehicle licence and other licences at every performance review. May I please have a licence to do a copy of? I give everyone a hint who reports to me because they have to do it. Because that's at least one check that someone hasn't lost their motor vehicle licence, we haven't been told. As an example.
Thank you. Any further questions, councillors, on the review of the secondary employment policy? Nothing further. All those in favour? Then carried. Moving on to reports of the General Manager, the first of those being the outstanding reports checklist, and councillors will note a number of items in that report. Is someone happy to move that outstanding reports checklist with the asterisk items to be deleted? Councillor Walker, you're happy to move. Councillor Derrick, second. Councillor Walker. Yeah, seems to be towards the end. I imagine. Just some information. I know there's still out at the minute with tenders for the airport. Do we know if there's been a number of, or
Yes.
any
Reasonable interest.
reasonable interest? Good. Thank you.
Closes Thursday the 4th.
4th of May, yep. Second one, destination Macquarie Marshall. I know it's in the meeting, list of meeting speakers. Who was involved in that one? Was that just more us, or was it, were other councils becoming involved?
No, not
That's
yet.
not
Not
yet.
yet.
Yeah.
What's happening is that the 4 core organisations were all represented in the first inaugural meeting, and there's recommendations going to the 2nd of May Economic Development Committee of what's happening in regard to future work and then future members. And and it's up to the Economic Development Promotions Committee to actually pass, if it wants to, pass those recommendations on to council.
Question, Councillor Whiteley?
I observed that the CBT toilets are just about complete to be, the Lions Parkway.
They're operational but locked because we've got all work around them to get done. Hopefully over the next week or two, and expect within the next 2 weeks, you know? Hopefully.
Both of them, and that can, by our next meeting, that can have an.
Yeah, I hope so.
Sorry, does that include the murals being on, or just operational?
Hopefully everything.
Hopefully, yeah. So you'll be willing to have them operating prior to the murals going on, is that what you're saying? Or not, or will you not have them operating until the murals are complete? What do you?
I think that's still okay.
And it might be the placement of the murals. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I think there's concrete works, paving works and all sorts of things to just to tidy up the area to make it fully operational. You can go in, but you'll have to trip over things that people can't go in.
Councillor Walker, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to ask the Manager of Health and Development, there's a bit of stalling with the start of concreting out of the Wemmo tip. Have you got any indication when that might begin?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, last correspondence I had with the contractor was over 2 weeks ago, so I have to touch base with him again and confirm what the hold up is yet.
If it prolongs, like you know, last night was due to a flood, but there was a re-evaluation of the cost. If this doesn't continue to roll over and be an issue again,
I'll follow up and give you an update.
you know. Thank you.
Thank you. The question, a little bit more information. Page 17, upgrade replacement of play equipment. Which playground is that in?
That's it, the Shogun High School.
Okay. We just make a note of that where that is, so we all understand where that is. Councillor Kinsey.
Page 18 and 19, the Neil Earthberg, you have those guys yet?
Refer to the general manager for that.
And so,
You mentioned.
that's from my first upgrade.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a meeting, with them, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So what we're doing now is to draft the agreement, which we then discuss with them. Yeah. And something very interesting, what we did do was, did a practice with, 100 tons of, spoils, the jaw run of the minus 100 mil, minus 150 mil, and added it to their crusher that they've had working at the Bogan pit to see, and starting to blend it to see how good material could be produced using our quarry material and that Bogan pit material. So it's just sort of dry, almost like a DGB20.
To take it down, take the other down between, sorry.
No, crushed almost like DGB20.
Like a road base.
The road base.
Road base, yeah.
It-
You get a result of it, all of it.
We're still to hear from them, but we organised that, we thought that was a good little trial to do something.
Thank you. Councillor Bruce.
Thanks through you, Mayor. To the engineering manager, now that we, to do with the roundabout, now that we know that Essential Energy owns the pole, are you going to continue in trying to get the other camera poles put on there? How's that all going?
Mr. Mayor, I've begun the process to get a qualified contractor to apply for a permit from Essential Energy so that we can, they call it attach items on their board. So the process ongoing.
Thank you.
Councillor Walker.
Yeah, through Mr. Mayor, another question to Manager Gilbert. I'm just wondering what progress or if there's any news on the Deakin situation. I've read it was further in district court, but also on page 21 it says that the defendant wanted the houses to be inspected for March 2023.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, they did request an extension of time, which we granted, and it's following due process.
Thank you.
Any further comments, questions regarding item 1 of the general manager's report, the outstanding reports checklist? We have a further debate. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 2 of the general manager's report, as is additional in recognition of Warren being a healthy town and keeping us in a healthy lifestyle, council will be standing on item 2 of the general manager's report, that being the committee and delegates meetings report. Someone having to move that those meetings. Noted. Thank you, Councillor Kinsey. Seconded, Councillor Walker. Councillor Kinsey.
Another one for the list, Mr. Mayor, Castle Road, the 26th to the 6th, 23, after the animal.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding those item 2 of the general manager report, the committee and the delegates meetings? No further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to item 3 of the General Manager's report, that being the Works Progress Report for Infrastructure Projects. Someone happy to move that recommendation information be received and noted? Councillor Jackson, happy to move that. Second. Councillor Bruce, Councillor Jackson.
I just read the recommendation as it was drafted.
In relation to the Carter Oval amenities log, where exactly are we up to with that? Are we waiting for the contractors to come back to us, or is that, what situation are we?
So what we've done, Mr Mayor, is arrange testing of the concrete of the piers. There's further testing by core testing, just to check to make sure that it well and truly is appropriate or not appropriate. And we've had correspondence to the contractor contractually, putting them on notice of what is expected. A meeting before that, and they were coming to start doing some work on the 5th. They're waiting for this extra testing to confirm that whether they've got a serious problem or some of the piers are okay. And expecting the 12th of May recommencement with what work they're doing in accordance with their engineering requirements and our requirements.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 3 of the General Manager's report of infrastructure progress?
Mr Mayor, the ladies' toilet block in here has been removed, but everyone needs to realise that for the show,
We're doing the showground race course now.
race course.
So you'll know the demolition has commenced.
Councillor Bruce, I was looking at.
Yep.
And is there will be appropriate, typical quality septic sand type things set up for the ladies, and when it's all finished is when the men's disappears. And we've now got exactly 50 millimetres of ceiling on the equestrian centre. And look, we know exactly how much it will cost in and out to get a certain thickness again, which is something for the future for users to know that if they need 80 mil instead of 50, this will we expect the cost to put in and to remove.
Thank you. Councillor Walker.
The vandalism, is that, since you've blocked entrance, is that blocked the situation?
It will because I think the vandals don't walk out there. It's not. We weren't able to get the doors were able to be used and in and out, and the toilets that were damaged were able to be used for the Big Pony Club Gymkhana. But what really is happening is some more steel plate work happening on the doors, like sadly we have to do. I don't think that's happened yet.
Thank you.
Just a question, General Manager, have you had feedback from the Pony Club camp?
I haven't. I've had a reasonable amount of positives, certainly looking at some Facebook posts and setups. People, we've gone and watched them, they've had a chance to talk about it, and we'll find out tomorrow afternoon, because we're meeting again just to progress information for the operation and maintenance requirements of the facility and what the users are going to be doing tomorrow afternoon. Certainly, I don't forget in the draft estimates there is some equipment that should be helpful for people, and perhaps helpful for us, because we can use it in elsewhere as well. But something positive to talk to people about tomorrow afternoon, we hope.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 3, the General Manager's report, infrastructure projects in progress? Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to item 4, the General Manager's report, that being pertaining to the local roads and community infrastructures program, the phase 3 extension, the phase 4, a total of $1.310 million. Council has received a recommendation there in front of them that was discussed at the workshop last week. Someone happy to move that recommendation? Councillor Drews happy to move that. Second, Councillor Derrick. Councillor Drews.
Yes, I'm happy to move it. We had a pretty good discussion on it in a workshop the other day, so I think we're all pretty in agreement with what's in. Thank you.
Councillors will note that there are a number of projects that we have ongoing grant applications for and are eligible in these guidelines, so they're noted in our business paper there. A lot of work went into trying to get maximum bang for our buck, but what this will mean is a lot of little things will get done that we then don't have to revisit over years, bitumen resealing Victoria, all those little things that need to be done that otherwise we'd be stretching budgets to overcome. 1.3 million doesn't appear easily in our budget, so I think it's really good use of our money to spread it widely and get a fair bit actually done. Sorry, Councillor Whiteley.
Two things, Mr. Mayor. One is I congratulate the staff who prepared that document in the workshop the other day, considering we were lacking a divisional manager finance at the time. And the other is I commend this. We went through this in really fine detail, and I think it balances expenditure across the Shire in different areas and different constituencies, and it is a fair, balanced use of that fund.
Councillor, just for your information, you will know Victoria Oval Permanent School Board, a contribution, council contribution $20,000. The rugby club indicated that they're willing to contribute $15,000 in cash or in kind, as in electrical trades are available and earthworks may be available, but they indicated that they will like to support that $20,000 from council to get a permanent school board at Victoria. So that's another tick, and I always like to see community groups supporting what we're doing to the benefit of both. So take that now as being achieved. Councillor Walker, I think you had a comment, question.
It's a small thing, but I'm just wondering, who owns the Spa car park? Anyone like me in that?
It's a public car park that we are also responsible for some maintenance and improvement. Part of the process many years ago, it's actually a public car park.
So, I know it's only small, but the actual parking area is dotted with quite large potholes.
No, what we look after are making sure the gardens and irrigation.
They don't look very nice.
No, but we've got that listed as one of the projects of town improvement, that there's some minor funding going towards fixing all that up.
Okay, so who do I approach for the actual car park?
Owner of the Spa car park, but you've done it to us, which we will do. Talk to them about it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Same, Mr. Mayor, as the IGA car park. The owners there would ask us to do some car patching if needed.
needs to be attention. And I suspect the heavy vehicle truck stop out of town, there's a turn off to the Martha Guy is under Traffic New South Wales control.
Say it again, Miss.
The truck stop is it's just before the turn off to Martha Guy.
Yeah,
State Highway 11.
Intersections, State Highway 11 and 202, Mark Guy Road. Transport to New South Wales.
It's some tough action required there, is it?
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Any further comments regarding item 4 of the general manager report pertaining to the funding allocations for the local roads community infrastructure funding, extension phase 3 and then phase 4? Councillor Walker.
Information if you've been successful or.
We already are successful.
This is-
money that's already.
This is cash funded, so we actually have all that money on hand or not?
There's,
Bradley, excuse me, Manager of Finance Administration, we're putting you straight on. This is a setup job. Setup job.
so look, I think we've received, for example, what there is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. This is phase 3 extension and phase 4. The first two, I think we received everything. We received a reasonable amount of phase 3. I don't think anything yet for phase 3 extension because we actually have to provide them a works program. And then we get, I think, 75 or 80% paid. Same with maybe phase 4. And one of the jobs after council resolves the works, we have to do a works program and try to work out what are the priorities to go into the phase 3 extension and then into the next phase 4 and a works program, and then they approve the works program and give us a reasonable amount, like 75 or 80% of the money.
You've got time limits on phase 3 and phase 4.
Yes.
Projects.
So you don't know which phase 3 extension because the complications, all staff now have to get together. For example, say the recommendation is approved, Sylvester has to see whether he can actually do the bitumen reseals very, very soon. And because there's a fair amount of bitumen resealing of assets in there, and that could be in the phase 3. I think we want to try to organise ourselves with the scoreboards a chance. Someone wants to help us with their scoreboard. The right thing is to try to get it into phase 3 extension. And so we've got some complication after this to sort.
But the complication, Councillor Walker, is that we don't have to find the money. The money will, it's essentially cash funded. We're not out there with the grants for it. These are things that can go ahead as a works program is developed. So we're saying these things will happen over the next 12 months to 2 years. Yeah. Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 4, local roads community infrastructure, federally funded this one is, just so everyone's aware. Federal funding. If nothing further, put that all those in favour, against, carried. Moving on to item 5, the local roads congress, Institute of Public Works Engineers Australia. If someone's happy to move that. Councillor Derrick, sorry, happy to move that. Second, Councillor Walker. Councillor Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to move the recommendation. Do we need to? Yes, confirm that. Yep.
If you possibly can, that would be ideal. So I'm looking at the members of the roads committee, and I'm happy to see 2 councillors go. I think it's no matter. Councillor McCloskey, you're happy to attend. Thank you for that. And Councillor Kinsey is happy to attend. Thank you. Any further?
And so Mr Mayor, Jane, would you please change that attendance of councillors McCloskey and Kinsey?
The mover and second, happy with that? Yeah, Councillor Walker. Yeah, Councillor, yes, we've just changed the, instead of two councillors, we've nominated councillors McCloskey and councillor Kinsey as the two delegates to attend the IWPA. And on with the general manager and the manager engineering service. Movement second, happy with that. Any further discussion before we look back? Nothing further. All those in favour? Yes, carried. Moving on to item 5, general manager's report, that being the land allocation for New South Wales Rural Fire Service, a new proposed station for the Warren Central Brigade. And note, of course, this is the Rural Fire Service as opposed to Fire and Rescue New South Wales, so we just need to be quite clear about that. Someone happy to move that recommendation there that you focus on the newspaper? Councillor Walker moved that, second. Councillor Jackson, Councillor Walker. Councillor Walker, you seeking further information, is that what you're asking?
Discussion.
You can't really have a discussion, it's more, you're seeking more information.
Mr Mayor, the recommendation and what's been moved is approval in principle, because we are also the consent authority for development application and subdivision application, and there will be appropriate community consultation in the area. I made sure I sat down with one of the main neighbours next door, and she eventually had some concerns. However, the requirements of the Rural Fire Service Warren Central Brigade are important too, and so that's why they've asked us to consider having finding something in Warren and not out at the airport because of what's listed in the report, being that most of their members are based in Warren, and it could be detrimental to attending emergencies if it's based out at the airport. Still leaving it open, if a development application becomes difficult, then we go back out to the airport, but that's the reason why you've got the report in front of you. We did a fair amount of work to try to find suitable properties that we own, and that's, to the best of our knowledge, that's the only one that's suitable within the levy of Warren.
So essentially, it's a number of bay shed and a parking area, and it's all the information I think councillors have been tabled in front of you there, so that you've got a fair indication of what, when there's a site plan, etc.
So it could be up to 4 bays. They've got $1 million budget. That budget may change to become a 3-bay shed. Facility might become a 3-bay shed if their $1 million is not sufficient. But they do have to make sure, as per the recommendation, that they prepare themselves for everything they need to do to make sure that it's attractive and suitable for the location. 20 years ago, there wasn't enough room for the SES and Rural Fire Service, this facility here, and it'd be good for the SES to have that whole shed and be able to do what they need to do out of that facility in Redford Street as well as the other positive.
Councillor Walker?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, how close is this building to the nearest neighbour? Is it right up on the,
So, if you there's a site plan, so it's about 5 metres from the location.
is there any landscaping or something to break up the roof of the building, to soften it, involved? This design?
That will be all part of the requirements of a development consent investigation by the planning side. And if there's sufficient people asking for that as neighbours. But I mean, part of the discussion without actually having it in black and white was to make sure it was attractive.
And noise levels and timing of when it's,
No, but making sure that they don't have to push a button and the whole siren fire station goes off, because they don't need that anymore.
I read that, but I'm just thinking in other times if there's any, noise and activity, if they have to be mindful of people around them.
I mean, it's already, Councillor Walker, to be frank, it's already happening down in Bedford Street, so it's only just a different venue.
Mr. Mayor, the RFS, under their current building program, there is other sites, other their places in other places that are quite amenable to, it's not just to put a tent shed.
I'm just wondering if in time it increases the value of the nearest neighbour, so. It's not too.
When it goes through the development application, Councillor Walker, the neighbours have the opportunity to object if they so choose. At the moment, it's zoned appropriately, so they, yeah, so it's, it's sort of a development that fits within the guidelines. Anything further regarding item 6 in the general manager's report there regarding land allocation for the New South Wales Fire Service?
Mr. Mayor, I don't think it's appropriate, but the discussions and Gary's search for this does highlight that we are lacking in zoning some, our town planning is running out of certain industrial type zoning.
Particularly within the levy.
Within the levy.
That's the thing. Councillor, anything further on item 6 in the general manager's report pertaining to land allocations for the New South Wales Rural Fire Service? Being nothing further, put all those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to item 7, the general manager's report. The draft 23-24 operational plan. That document is circulated at the workshop. I'm looking for someone to give a recommendation. The council advertised the operational plan up until the 1st of June, which is whatever number of days that may be. Councillor Walker was happy to move that, seconded by Councillor Jackson. Councillor Walker. So councillors, this all flows down from our strategic plan, down to our 4-year delivery plan, and now we're into the 1-year operational plan for what will occur in 23-24. You'll see there's a fairly extensive list of capital works, replacement works, upgrades. I'd like to get through in that period, which will be a move on, I guess, in 24-25 as well.
Certainly, leverage, a lot of the leverage bank.
Councillors, you might note that there's specific amounts for bitumen resealing on Devon Road, gravel sheeting, etc. In discussions with the Management Engineering Services, those actual areas which will be dealt with are not final yet, but there's a budget allocation to do a certain amount of work, so there's certainly some work happening in that space. Particularly the gravel reshedding and the bitumen resealing on roads.
That's right. Most of them have not been allocated, apart from the beginning roads, because that we agreed to do warrant road and most of the other roads. Yeah.
Gravel reshading is not known, but the bitumen reseals are contained as part of the 5-year program. So it's all funded by race recovery. And so the urban reseals of 55,000 and the 600,258 for Shire Road reseals is just a continuous thing from 5-year program. Yeah. The gravel reshedding is well and truly in reporting status to roads committee to finalise the most important. It'll be a big year with, again, in 23-24, reasonable amount carried over, particularly some of the major roadworks, flood damage and levy.
Councillors, any comments, questions on item 7, the draft 23-24 operational plan?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, apologise to part of the estimates course. There are a couple of locations that the Office of Local Government is yet to advise council on a number of things. And as soon as they do, they will be adjusted, meaning the interest that's allowable on overdue rates. I think section 603 certificate fees are yet to be advised. Top of page 86. I think they're released there at the moment too. But if you have to look at your estimate sheets that are still yellow, waiting for the Office of Local Government to advise us, and it's the end of April.
Any further comments, questions regarding the draft 23-24 operational plan? So it goes out in public exhibition until the 1st of June. Nothing further. With that, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to item 1. Item 1 of the administration report. Councillors, you will notice that the report's been provided, the supplementary report's been provided on your desk regarding the reconciliation certificate. Someone happy to move that, Councillor Cruz will happy to move. Second, for item 1, Councillor Cruz, Councillor Bruce.
Yes, I'm happy to move the recommendation, but I'm just wondering, some of the investments, have they been reinvested? There's one on the 21st of February, which is due, and there's 2 in March. they been reinvested?
Yes, Mr Mayor.
Okay. So, sorry, number 40, the 10,000, so I assume that rate has gone up a bit, has it?
Yeah, that's why it's missing 4%.
Shouldn't they have a new maturity date, so it's like,
Yes.
Apologies, I've actually had a bit of an oversight there. In the dying hours of last night, close to 7 p.m, when I was finalising this, we had in trouble with the bank reconciliation, which needed to happen price and giving those figures. The file that I had updated and just about ready to print, this particular table is corrupted, just as a general manager come in to say, good evening. So I had to go to the month prior and very quickly try and update it all, so that's my oversight there. I will provide the actual, they have been reinvested.
Thank you.
And yes, correct. In the current period, there's 2 that were done in that March period. As you can see here, 4 point something like that. So,
Thank you.
Thank
you.
We're already on that one. One other mention in this report, the breakup between the cash, particularly around the funds to which the cash relates on the front page. Which we generally also consider. There were some small number of standing journals around the interfunding that were unable to be completed. So with Julian's absence, roughly to the tune of $50,000 kind of adjustment in that, so I just wanted to make you aware of that as well. So these figures are only intended as a guide, as an estimate. They change all of the time with whatever money's coming out as it relates to each fund on any given day. So just wanted to make you aware of that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, any further comments, questions regarding item 1 and which is Manager of Finance Administration's report? Nothing further, we'll put that. All in favour? It's carried. Moving on to item 2, Vice Manager of Finance Administration report, statement of rates and amortisation. Someone have to move that. Councillor Jackson, Councillor Walker. Councillor Jackson.
I just, recommendation information being received and noted.
Anything further on item 2? And the rates and annual charges? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against, carried. Item 3 is Manager of Finance Administration report, works progress report related to Finance Administration projects. Someone happy to move that? Thank you, Councillor Derrick. Second, Councillor Bruce. Councillor Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy to move recommendation.
When are we anticipating a start on that? We're still waiting for pre-created comparisons on.
No, it's just about to be advertised.
Okay, the tender. Good. Thank you.
Tender of everything.
Well,
Yeah. It's still kind of going split, but it's one tender. Okay.
If you have any further comments, questions regarding item 3? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Yes. Carried. Item 4, the draft 23-24 estimates. Someone happy to move that recommendation if they go on public exhibition, public comment until Thursday the 1st of June. We workshopped this extensively, but someone has to move that recommendation. Councillor Whiteley, and then sorry, Councillor Bruce. Councillor Whiteley.
Mayor, council recommend this. Nobody likes charges and rates increasing that in this current environment, we need the 3.7, but it's interesting to note that IPART different from last year, the month. The water and sewer rates by 7, especially the water rate, the water fund needs some dollars. Sewerage not so much, but water needs to build up more of a reserve. And as we workshopped it the other day, it's a necessary evil.
Thank you, Councillor Whiteley. It's difficult yards when we're asking our ratepayers to add to the cost of living pressures by 3.7 general rate increase, but nonetheless, we're part of that whole scenario in terms of wages increasing, costs of goods and services increasing, just to keep pace. Unfortunately, we have to be in the same space. Councillor Whiteley.
If I could just follow on, it's imperative that us as an organisation look at our efficiencies as well. We need to be a leader when we're using ratepayers and public money to be efficient in our operation.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 4, the Division Manager Finance Administration report pertaining to the draft 23-24 estimates? If nothing further, put that, all those in favour, against, carried. Item 5 pertains to the Council Bank signatures. Is someone happy to move that recommendation? Councillor Jackson moved that, second. Councillor Kinsey, Councillor Jackson.
The recommendation of those people are the best people and most appropriate to the signatories on the bank account.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions regarding item 5? Nothing further, put that, all those in favour, against, carried. Moving on to the reports. Moving on to the reports of the Divisional Manager of Engineering Services. First of those being the Works Progress Report, roads. Someone happy to move that report? Has information been received and noted? Councillor Whiteley is happy to move that. Second. Councillor Walker, Councillor Whiteley.
Yeah, I commend the Divisional Manager's report to you and ask for comment. I'll lead up with the bushfire hazard reduction is got 144,000. Is that finished at the financial year? Or?
Yeah, we have to make sure we try to get that 285,000 finished before the 30th of June.
Which is that? Are you using just the slashing or the spraying as well?
No, well, spraying the guidepost signs, etc. At the same time, on our regional roads and shire roads, if required, around the guideposts and signage. It's mostly slashing. There are some works happening in relation to fire breaks that Managed Health and Development Services organised in some urban areas and around her facilities. But we're trying hardest to get everything slashed everywhere.
It's reasonably important that be done, not to lose the money, but so we can apply for the same amount.
Even more, yeah.
In that same vein, fixing local roads, auto repair round, does that have a time frame on it as well?
I think February 24, where I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Both of them are February 24.
This is the little one, not the big one. The little one.
Trying to get as much tar patching done as possible. And if we can fill the spare tar patching crew, that would be like,
Yeah, that helps get that, utilize that fund. Yep. Thank you. Sorry,
Just
Councillor Lewis,
ask
you got
a
a question?
question to the engineering manager, when, is the work probably looking like happening out on the identified items?
The instruction. Oh, we're leaving that to next cemetery.
Yeah, but like, is it? I'm just putting it out there, like harvest time. Yeah. it's
When is
not a
harvest
good
day?
time. That's November.
November. I'll take that into consideration. Yeah.
Because you're doing the whole 8 Ks in one hit, aren't you? It's gonna be a massive, yeah.
Yeah, it will be, 8 Ks, but in sections.
You still can't sequence, okay. Thank you.
Councillor Wiley?
Question to Regional Manager, Mangle Road, Warren Road. When are we expecting, the culvert work to start? And what's, the scenario when that happens, for bypass or access around the site?
Councillor, the contractor has begun mobilizing the site. So they are looking at, starting construction either 1st of May or 8th of May. They're starting from the Bulla Green side coming to town, just because the first 3 culverts near Soldiers Road, we have a drama with trees there. We couldn't fit a side track there, and we cannot divert traffic to Bulla Green, onto Mathagai Road, Bulla Green. So I'm looking at doing an REF so that we can remove trees from the time from Soldiers side. In the meantime, the contractor will start from the other side coming towards town. So the other side, the first few culverts from Bulla Green side,
Line,
yeah, you can, they're going to do side maps.
yeah.
Then in future, after we remove trees on the other side, then we'll do side map there as well.
I think next week we start voluntary carting 400 or 500 tonnes of material for the side tracks. Next week, I think. That's what it was told this morning. You're carting your 2 cans for your side tracks.
I think materials for the cars.
There is it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the increase on triple, through traffic that triples from now on through till September will increase remarkably. And we certainly don't want, yeah, I was worried about the tree area as well. We certainly don't want, them going down further.
Yep, no, decent side track. It gets pretty wet in that particular area too, which is potentially a problem.
Bottomless.
Yeah.
That red country.
It's engineering challenge.
Small work.
I'm assuming the culverts are on the old side outside out here, the culverts to go to the Mangle Road, so they're box culvert sections. Is there any reason why box, it's probably before your time, so this, why box culverts as opposed to pipe culverts are going in? Given the time frame in terms of the installation you put in, I'm assuming there'll be a slab go down underneath the box culverts and then sit on top of it, so you got time to wait for the slab to cure. I'm just looking time duration in terms of the works as opposed to what potentially would have been quicker with pipe culverts.
Mr. Mayor, Councillor McCloskey side to be put a pipe culvert, but we're looking at the longevity and service of culverts. I think box culverts will be provide better service than pipe culverts.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 1, Division Manager Engineering Service report pertaining to roads? Just a reference to the traffic
between the counties there. Nevertide Bogan Road is more traffic than 7515 at the moment. Nevertide Bogan is our local road, of course, and 7515 to Warren Road to Campbell is a regional road, so sort of underlines what we've been asking state government for, to suggest that part of the Inland Flat route that becomes a regional road.
Different type of reporting too.
Like with the grass, like colours.
I'm certainly that one. I hope the police don't see it.
Some control. Councillor Whiteley.
Just back up your comment about that Georgia County. Commercial operations range cost moved 45,000 tonnes of product to the Nevertide a month ago in a matter of weeks. So that, you know, it's not a local shire road by any means.
And to have these traffic counters now that communicate same time, time frames. So it's the equipment is very worthwhile. The traffic counters give us some real numbers to work with, which is great. Thank you. Any further comments or questions regarding item 1, Division Manager Engineering Services report? Nothing further, we'll put that all those in favour. Yes, carried. Moving on to item 2 of the Division Manager Engineering Service report. Works progress report pertaining to town services. Someone happy to give information for please noted. Councillor Walker. Second, Councillor Jackson, Councillor Walker.
I'm happy to move the recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, Councillor Bruce.
Yeah, just through you, Mayor, just as I spoke in the pre-meeting, I want to congratulate the town crew for the town looking so clean and tidy after hearing very positive comments from the people travelling through. They said Warren was beautiful, clean and tidy. So well done to the staff.
Yeah, and that's not a one-off, Councillor Bruce side. Campbell suggesting the very same thing, that Warren was very tidy in comparison to their town. So I know we're all in the same boat, but it's nice to be congratulated nonetheless from those who are outside of our town when they can compare ours to other towns.
Yes.
It's good. Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 2, the sound services report? Nothing further. Put that, all those in favour? Yes, carried. Moving on to item 3 of the Division Manager Engineering Service report pertaining to the fleet and the workshop. Someone happy to move item 3? Councillor White was happy to move. Second, Councillor Derrick, Councillor Whiteley.
Yeah, I commend the report to council and ask for a comment.
Councillor Dussault.
Sorry,
No, you're
through there. Just a question. The last on the workshop, the Toyota Hilux, 70,000 kilometres, and it's in terrible condition inside and out. So, what on earth happened?
You shall seek clarification. I shall. It's the very same question I was going to get asked to Councillor Drewes. We'll see what you happen to understand what happened to that vehicle.
Yes, some of talking to staff members about cleanliness of cars inside, so that's a great.
Okay.
No, I couldn't hear that.
It's just who are cleaning covers among staff members,
Okay.
and we are not staff members.
So when we talk about poor condition, terrible condition inside and out, is there damage or is it just
Just cleanliness.
just cleanliness? Councillor McCloskey.
So through you, Steve, is that a vehicle that belongs to the employee as an operational vehicle, work vehicle for that person in particular? Or just so one person operates and drives that vehicle?
Yes, that's right.
Only, Mr. Mayor, only work hours, or is that one of the ones that they can use in their private home?
No private use. Yes. Yes, what, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Duly noted.
Just another question, a lot of that. Council still has a no smoking policy with respect to smoking in vehicles, don't they? They do. That's police.
I hope so.
Thank you.
So no more.
No. Point noted, I'll leave Councillor McCloskey. Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 3, Divisional Manager Engineering Services report? Taking the fleet in the workshop? Nothing further to put that, all those in favour? Against, carried. Item 4, Division Manager Engineering Service report pertaining to the proposed land acquisition at the Martha Grove Bridge, along the Warren Road 77515. Someone happy to move that recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Kinsey. Second, Councillor Jackson. Councillor Kinsey.
Great idea, Mr. Mayor.
I think
Go on the road.
absolutely. There are a couple of issues there. I might get the Division Manager Engineering Services to look at. We're all acutely aware of the angle at which the road joins, crosses the Martha Grove Creek. Just straightening out, in Councillor McCloskey's time as roads overseer, a couple of trees were removed to improve the sight lines there, but it's a pretty average approach to that bridge, and on the other way, pretty average exit.
The roads overseer would have been 45 years ago. Would have been roads engineer or
You're not disclose my age.
You were very young.
Mr. Mayor, we could go back to pool attendant.
Yeah, we are getting old.
But there's other obstacles. I just might refer to the Division Manager Engineering Services just on our way through this particular issue. Also the power pole that's in place, and you might bring councillors up to line how you're proposing to actually move this whole thing forward.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start with the potentially easier one, the power pole. I've begun a process to get a qualified essential energy contractor to move the pole. So I'm looking at moving the pole. The easier way would be to move it south of the center line that you see in that map there. The other part would be to move it north. So we're looking at those two options at the moment. On to the process of compulsory land acquisition. First, we have to obtain a resolution from council to do so. In saying that, I've begun a process with Crown Lines, and I need to do a notification to Crown Lines about this acquisition. And to do that notification, I need a lot of documents, among them approvals from different organizations that include Aboriginal Land Council. There's a native claim on the land that's not been determined yet. Part of the land is on private stock route, so I have to talk to LLS, and yeah, that's going to be a long process. So what I've done also is to apply for a license so that we can proceed and construct the bridge while continuing the acquisition process. So that it's ongoing at the moment. There's still a challenge there to obtain some form of approval from organizations like the Aboriginal Land Council that we began the process. It might be lengthy process as well, because the last time we spoke with them, they indicated that they have a 3-month backlog to deal with. So we are at the back of the queue. So yeah,
Thank you. You'll keep us updated on your progress on that one, though, will you not? Yes, thank you. And the new park bridges that present any challenges to you?
no new park business. Okay, because we're just in
On the straight first?
yeah, so it's a discount area.
Okay, done. Councillor White?
Mr. Mayor, Page Engineer Services, is there a plan for the existing bridge?
Tenango,
No, on Monk.
not at the moment. Yeah, the plans to remove it. Yeah.
That was, one of the, at our meeting when, the previous regional roads business, that was one of the, concerns of the immediate landholder, obviously moving stock across the bridge.
Move more stock across the Wally Bridge.
I'm voicing his concerns.
Councillor Whiteley, further comments, questions regarding item 4, the division management engineering services? Unfortunately, we just have to go through the processes here, time consuming as they may be, but thank you for at least applying for a temporary applications. At least we'll hopefully we'll see some traction there and see it start to move forward.
And last, they're doing things. From the bridges could be replaced.
Absolutely. That's an answer one. Yeah. Absolutely. Any further comment? No. Any further comments, questions regarding item 4, the division of engineering services?
I think that meant wider bridge.
Wider bridge. And a better aligned bridge.
I think the least statement is fine. Least statement is wide, probably another 25% more cattle.
That's okay. Thank you. Any further comments, questions? Nothing further, we'll put item 4, which is made engineering service report. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to the reports of the Manager of Health and Development. First of those being the development application approvals. A couple of those here. Someone happy to move that information presented to Councillor Bruce. Second, Councillor Jackson. Councillor Bruce.
Just happy to move the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding the development applications, item 1, Manager of Health and Development Services? Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour, against, carried. Item 2, the works progress report, Manager of Health and Development Services. Again, someone happy to move that recommendation, information be received and noted. Councillor Derrick's happy to move that. Second, Councillor Walker. Councillor Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do think it's a recommendation.
Thank you. Any comments, questions on, I think some of those, Councillor Walker, you do have a question regarding item 2?
Manager of Health and Development. The whole thing of the Tidal Bay walkway, is it, it's been inspected. I know we've had some weak times. Is it moving ahead or is it involved with something else?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we believe we don't have sufficient funds to progress with it, so we're reconsidering that project.
Yeah, that's why there's just under $31,000 in next year's estimates, and the perfect timing, I think, is to put them together. We have everything finished August, September, and it's all part of that very large destination quarry marshes, final little things that the council has to do in relation to Destination Macquarie Marshes project that Mr. Arthur and Mr. Woodman have been working on for the last 2 years.
Marianne, how far in the project is the planning stages with the animal shelter?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, not very far at all.
Just asking because there's a lot of dogs wandering around town. So, you need it.
And that's why a pretty extensive and quality pound allocation has been added to that 60,000 for the 23-24 because the 60,000 is not sufficient. And it'll be a pretty good jail for those small dogs very soon.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions regarding item 2 of the Native Health and Development Services report pertaining to projects? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Gary. Councillors, we have, I believe, no notice of motion or questions with notice. We have, in my view, no matters of urgency. Are there any matters of urgency that councillors do wish to raise? Councillor Whiteley.
Just one, I'm just wondering whether the chairman would like to comment on the flood exit meeting we have here.
I wonder if we might consider that in the committee of the whole closed council. We can speak reasonably freely in that forum. I don't believe it's a matter of urgency. Thank you.
All right,
Councillor Bell,
in Warren.
beg your pardon?
The NBN in Warren, it's ridiculous, all our business houses.
Again, I think let's take that to the committee of the whole closed council, and we can speak freely in that forum, Councillor Van Elmont. Thank you. So if you two councillors could recall what we need to discuss those matters. Thank you. Councillor, if you would like to confidential matters, I'm going to ask someone to move from the floor a resolution to proceed to the committee of the whole closed council to consider the matters listed in the general manager's report and any other matters which a separate resolution has been carried this meeting. Someone happy to move that? Thank you, Councillor Kinsey, Councillor Jackson. Then we need a resolution to exclude the question of the public from the committee of the whole closed council meeting for the restated in the motion of the referrals. Same to councillors having to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillors will now, we're operating again? Yep. Council will now take the opportunity after having come out of the committee of the whole closed council meeting to consider the resolutions that were passed within that committee of the whole closed council. The first of those pertains to the swimming pool liner and the proposal to go through with that. Looking for someone to move that motion, and those who moved within the committee of the whole closed council were Councillor Walker and Councillor Bruce. Councillor Walker, secondly Councillor Bruce, that is. Are you happy in this instance to move
Yes.
that motion? Thank you. Any further, any comments, questions regarding the first motion to come out of committee of the whole closed council? Nothing further, we'll put that, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to the item, or the second item, and the second resolution to come out of committee of the whole closed council pertaining to the tender for the construction of the bird viewing platform at Monkey Jar Creek. Again, that was moved by Councillor Walker and Councillor Bruce in the committee of the whole closed council. Those two councillors are happy to move this in formal council. Thank you, Councillor Walker, happy to move. Second, Councillor Bruce. Councillors, any further comments, questions regarding the second item pertaining to the Monkey Jar bird viewing platform tender?
You having trouble, something gone wrong? It's frozen, hasn't it? You're doing a very good job of keeping the same,
It makes it potentially a little easier if those councillors are happy to move that way. There you are, we're all in order on the screen. Any further comments, questions regarding the Monkey Creek bird viewing platform? In the case, we'll put that, all those in favour, against, carried. And the third, excuse me, item, and motion to come out of the committee of the whole, pertaining to the writing off of rates, moved by Councillor Derrick and seconded by Councillor Kinsey in committee of the whole closed council. Both those councillors have to move again. Councillor Derrick, thank you. Councillor Kinsey, the second. Any further comments, questions regarding the third item out of the committee of the whole closed council? Nothing further, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Councillor, we call the meeting to a conclusion. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. Very good.
It's great. Everyone. It's like a, like a